everybody, it's Mars, and I decided to do this video, which I think it would be very informative and interesting topic. I got a request from someone to do a video about my experience or tips that I would advise people when they move out on their own. And it was requested by Ellenad6. If I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry. It's ELLEINADD6. Ellenad6. So, I think I'm saying that right. So she stated, do you live by yourself? If so, what's it like? Could you do a video about living on your own? And she's moving out in a few months, and they've never been on their own. So I'm going to do a video about it. And I figured I'd put glasses on so I could look a little bit smarter. So sorry if the coloring is weird. I'm still trying to adjust with the camera on my phone or whatever. Anyways, so tips. Okay, so when I was young, my mom was super strict. It was kind of like, you live under my roof, you follow my rules. So at 17, I moved out. And I moved out with my sister, who's 10 years older than me. And it was easy because I didn't have to pay the bills. But I just didn't want to be home anymore. So I moved in with her. And that itself was very life-changing. Some issues happened. Actually didn't talk to my sister for a year after I moved out. When I moved out, then I lived with a guy. Best advice that I could give is that if you're moving out and you're going to move out and be on your own, make sure that you save as much money as you can. Roommates are cool, but I'll get to that in a minute. Let's go with my story. I'll let you know about my story and then I'll put tips on the way. So I moved out, moved in with my sister, had some issues. She was a bartender at a local bowling alley here, and we would actually go over there and drink because I was supposedly 21 and I wasn't. And I would always hang out there, and I didn't even have a license at that time. But she'd let me drive her car. So I graduated school, I lived with her for about, I want to say 1 to 2 years. And then I met this guy, and we started dating and got serious. And I moved out. Well, we had a falling out, and I showed up one day, and my sister had all my stuff in black garbage bags in the front. So I kind of moved out, and I didn't want to go back home. So I pretty much got the garbage bags and decided to move in with my boyfriend at the time and his mom and his brother. So that was kind of weird. But I worked, and she said, just give me $200 a month and you can have your own room and just pitch in for groceries and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, cool. And she was really cool. She ended up being like my best friend and was there for me because the guy that I was dating was like in and out of rehab and all sorts of stuff. That was like, if you watch my relationships videos, I talk more about it, about that relationship. But, yeah, so I lived there, and I was kind of stuck there for a while, and then decided to move out on my own. And, we moved out, and then we moved to this apartment complex, which was so beautiful. I loved that apartment. It was tile floor, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, vaulted ceilings, indirect lighting, a huge kitchen with a breakfast bar. I freaking loved it until someone got stabbed in the alley. It was in like the neighborhood where all the drug dealers live, and it was so cheap, but the apartment was so beautiful. But we decided to move out when, like, yeah, somebody got stabbed in our back alley. So we moved out, and that was when... This was after I moved out of that place. It was going to be the very first time that I had my own place by myself. Because upon all of that, moving around with my boyfriend, I lived with roommates. And this girl, they're from, I want to say Africa, South Africa. but they moved over here, and there was like a lot of things going on over there. I don't remember when this was, but she's white, and there was like this whole big thing going on to where they had to have like a huge fence around their house because people would try to climb on the roof to go in and kill them because of where they lived. I don't remember what her mom does, but yeah, it was just really bad. It was during the time where crime was high in Africa, so they moved over here. And it was pretty much high school people had their own house, and their mother wasn't even here, so like she would just pay all the bills from where she was, and the kids had their own house. And it was me, my boyfriend, a girl and his sister, and then their brother. So we were all living in this huge house, and it's like living with roommates. There's always something. The dog would shit everywhere and nobody picked it up. So it was like always cleaning. Like you'd find maggots. Like I remember cleaning once and there was like 18 bags of trash that we threw out. And it was like everybody would walk into the house and party. It was like a party house. People were always coming in and out. And so I couldn't take it anymore, so that's why we moved out on our own. And then I had problems with my boyfriend, and I moved out and went to go live in an apartment. And it was my very own first apartment. Granted, it wasn't that nice. It was actually kind of ghetto, but it was mine. And I loved living alone. And since then, I love living alone. I would rather like eat ramen and be paycheck to paycheck than to have extra money and live with someone. And you'll learn. It's nice to have roommates at first because you get to split the bills, but I'd say if you're starting and you're moving in with somebody, make sure that you guys are similar, because there's always one person who's messy and one that's dirty, and then it just becomes arguments, and then it just like causes problems with a friendship. So just be careful with who you move in with, even if you guys are best friends. So when I moved out on my own, the place, they were having a special, and I got lucky because the deposit was only $150 and the rent was like, what, $395 or something. And I was so lucky because normally it's a lot of money when you move into a place. And I lived at this place for a while, and then when I got a raise, I decided to move to the better side of town. The place I'm currently living at, I had to come up with a little over $1,000 to move in. So keep in mind, you always have to pay your first month's rent and a deposit. Some places will require more, so look into it. And don't settle right away. Like if you're looking for an apartment, usually if you go to real estate agents, at least here where I live, if you go to like a real estate agency, you give them your information, and then they'll give you a set of keys, and you get to drive around town and go walk in and view the apartments on your own, which is actually pretty cool. But things to look out for. If you're going to check out the apartment and you see one you like, drive by it. Drive by it during the day, the afternoon, and the night. Reason being is that if you move to a place and there's like children screaming and all over the place, or people that party that are really loud, or just look or be aware of your surroundings. I lived in an apartment complex where the people upstairs were so freaking loud. It was annoying. I've had several apartments now that I think about it. Yeah, I've moved around quite a bit, except for living in this apartment. I've been here the longest. But yeah, that's what I would do, is like I went to go find the apartment. Once I decided on it, I drove by it a few times, asked to see it a second time, just like things like that. And it's easier dealing with a real estate company because you don't have to deal with like a landlord. Like I never deal with a landlord. All I do is I can pay my rent online, and if I have any requests for maintenance, it's all online, and they just send somebody over. Like, that's how easy it is. But yeah, so make sure you have enough money for first month's rent and deposit. Here, I only pay $500, and it was $500 deposit. And then remember, if you're going to connect light under your name, it's going to cost money, and you're preferably wanting to look for an apartment that has cable. I mean, I don't know. I don't watch cable, so I could care less about cable. Internet, I have my own internet, and I splice it, and it gives me cable. So I only pay one fee, and I get both. Preferably look for apartments that have water included. But your light bill, when you first start out, there's a deposit you have to pay. I think I had to pay like $175 or something, and then an activation fee. And make sure that you set it up a couple days before you move in so that you're not stuck in the darkness. And when it comes to furniture, don't be embarrassed. Go to a thrift store. Like my first couch that I had was given to me by... Where did I get the first couch? Oh no, the first couch we got at a thrift store. It was this huge orange retro couch, which was super cool. And then my sister gave me some couches, and then she took them back. And then I got the couch that I currently have. Like my coffee table, I bought it for $8, but all I had to do was, like, there was like tic-tac-toes and stuff, like kids wrote all over it. All I did was sand it down and then revarnish it and stain the wood. Sorry. And it looks awesome. You have to be crafty. I'm really into DIY, so whatever your style is, Pinterest helps a lot. But yeah, it's all about saving money, making smart decisions as far as where you're going to live, look at your surroundings, and be wise with your money. If you're going to have a roommate and you buy all this stuff, and then let's say I don't know, if they're a stoner and they eat all your food, that's going to piss you off. So just be careful with who you live with. Living on my own, I love it. Granted, I will have, like right now, my light bill sometimes is almost up to $300, and it's just me. But I have to pay my rent, my insurance, my light, my internet, my cell phone bill. And that's all me. But I have a pretty good job that pays well, and I have a really great deal at this apartment. So that's why I won't move. I love living here. So I guess that's like all the advice I could give you guys. Be smart with your money. If you're a big shopper, be careful. Because if you end up like getting evicted or anything, that looks bad, and it's very hard to get another apartment. Because now certain apartments will do background checks and credit checks. So yeah, just be smart. When I was like 17, I got my first credit card, $500 limit, and I ended up owing like $1,200, and I never paid it. So learn from my mistakes, people. And I had a bank account that I overdrafted like crazy, and the bank closed, so I don't know whatever happened to that. But yeah, just be smart. Go through real estate agencies. Those are the best, because if you go through somebody's personal, like, maintenance is going to be a bitch, because you have to deal with that one person and blah, blah, blah. If you deal with a real estate company, it's a company, a functioning company, where you're not just dealing with one person. They're departments, people that handle maintenance, people that handle, like, yeah, it's all sorts of stuff. And the best thing I'd say is that when you move into a place, take pictures. I got like a disposable camera, but now you can use your cell phone. Take pictures of all the walls, all the outlets, all the outside surrounding areas. That way, if you move out, you're providing a copy of what it looked like. That way, if there's damages or anything in there before you move in, it's not something that they'll bill you for. Because in my old apartment, a water pipe burst and damaged the carpet, and the guy that was supposed to come clean it didn't come clean it, so they kept my $600 deposit because of that. I was pissed. So take photos. Learn from my mistakes. Take photos, review the area. Also online, check for sex offenders. And crime rates. You can check all of that online. And I know it sounds stupid, but it's worth it. Just like I said, I had somebody stabbed in the alley of my last neighborhood. But that's all the advice I can give. I hope this was helpful. But if you guys want to watch any other videos or requests, let me know. And EllenAd6, thanks for the request. You gave me an interesting topic to talk about. But you guys have a great day.